Welcome back to Cactus Corp Play Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. My name is Kevandre. Last time we allied with Quark, because I was not about to betray him the first time that I have the opportunity to. And then we split up because we still got some time. We're going to have to team up with Tenmyoji and Quark after this. But yeah, so now we're out searching for Axelavir. I'm still probably saying it wrong. Which is something that can cure Radical 6. So I think that me and Phi, or Sigma and Phi, are teamed up with Clover looking for it, and we went to the pressure exchange chamber. So, this is the pressure exchange chamber. No, this is the prep room. There are two levels. The actual pressure exchange chamber is downstairs. How do you know that? Alice told me. She was one of the people who investigated this room. Did you talk to her when you were waiting for us back in the warehouse? Yeah. Well, let's head downstairs then. Good idea. That's a fine idea there, Sigma. This place seems familiar. Where have I seen something like this before? So this is the real thing. Seems like it. Why do they have something like this here? Well, this is just what Alice told me, but... Apparently the pressure inside the facility was a lot higher than the pressure outside. That was part of the system designed to keep the virus from getting in. It did mean, however, that we'd need to go through a decompression process in order to get outside. Remember all those suits along the wall of the prep room? Those keep you from getting infected. We won't even be able to enter the pressure exchange chamber if we don't have them on. I see. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Then what that newspaper said was right? Unfortunately, that seems pretty likely. So the air out there is teeming with Radical 6. Yeah. Something's been bothering me. What is it? Aren't you saying that if we put on those suits we can go into the pressure exchange chamber and go outside, right? Oh, no, we can't do that. The door beyond the pressure exchange chamber is locked up tight. Damn it. Just one door between us and freedom? Well, if you look at it that way, it's the same as the number 9 door. Okay, yeah, but... whatever. We need to be focusing on finding that Axelavir. Axelavir. Quark needs it. Yeah, you're right. I'll go look around upstairs. You two take this floor, alright? Got it. Okay. We looked everywhere we could think of, but turned up nothing. Eventually, I couldn't keep my mouth shut any longer. Hey, what do you think the deal is with this stuff about the world being infested with some crazy virus? A pandemic seems like it would make the news, but I don't remember hearing anything. Man, again, this game is just so much better in 2020. Wait a minute, you mentioned it, didn't you? Back when Dio was asking questions? We were in the infirmary. It was right after Quark lost it. Have any of you guys heard anything about any sort of viral pandemic? Well, no, but... And then Alice said, I have heard rumors about a virus being used as a bioweapon. So what's the rumor she was talking about? I got the feeling you and Alice were talking about the same thing. Clover, what do you know? What are you and Alice anyway? Lovers? I heard you guys being in the same sort of organization, but what is it? Clover was quiet for a long time. She bit her thumbnail and looked down at the floor. Then finally she lifted her head and met my eyes. Fine. I think I can trust you. Just don't tell Alice, okay? Alright. Promise? Promise. Her name is Alice. Clover nodded and began to talk. I listened with rapt attention, at a complete loss for words. Here's what she said. Alice and I are agents of the SOIS, which is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Defense. SOIS stands for Special Office of Internal Security, and we're an elite intelligence division that investigates potentially disruptive or dangerous elements, such as domestic or foreign terrorists, radical political splinter groups, and religious organizations with extreme agendas that could pose a threat to the state or citizenry. Our existence hasn't been made public, so there are only a few people who even know we exist. You're probably wondering how I even got involved in something like that, huh? Well, it started when I met Alice. I told you that I've played the nonary game twice before, right? Well, this was after the second time, so about a year ago. We just escaped, and we were all stuffed in this SUV barreling across the desert. I was driving. Yeah, she was driving. And that's when I saw her. Alice. She was standing next to the room with a thumb out, with her finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. She was already working for the SWAT, but she'd been on her way to the building we'd been trapped in as part of an investigation. But on the way there, her car had broken down. We offered to give her a ride, of course. After she got in, we started talking, and it turned out that Alice had gotten a tip that the terrorists she was after were in the building we'd been trapped in. We couldn't see how us playing the nonary game had anything to do with the terrorists, but Alice had a suggestion. Maybe the two people who trapped you in there are the terrorists. That didn't seem very likely to us, but we were chasing after them anyway, so we decided to bring Alice with us. Unfortunately, we didn't find them. As far as we know, they're still out there now, on the run. Anyway, we were taken back to the SOIS headquarters and put into custody. I guess they thought there had to be some kind of connection between us being kidnapped and the terrorist group they were investigating. But they must not have found anything, because after a few days of questioning, they let us go. We all went home and returned to our lives. But things didn't go back the way they'd been. My mom got real worried about me and my brother, since we've been kidnapped twice now, so she hired bodyguards for us. Oh, I haven't told you about my brother, have I? He's super awesome, for one. Metal Gear. And he was in both of the last two nonary games, too. So anyway, we'd been grabbed twice, but the people behind the two nonary games were totally different. That didn't matter to my mom, though, so after all that, these huge men in black suits followed me and my brother everywhere. It was awful. We were always being watched. People would look at us funny because we were being followed around by a bunch of creepy-looking guys. I couldn't stand it. Just when I thought I'd finally be free, all that was waiting for me was another kind of prison. The only time I was really happy was when I was hanging out with my brother. So we were talking it over one day, and we decided to leave. Like, run away. So we did it, and after that, we lived on our own. I worked in a cafe, and he composed music. He plays the harp, and he had started writing this kind of new agey music. It got kind of popular, so we didn't have to worry too much about surviving. Sometimes he'd play at little venues like coffee houses and stuff, and his fans would show up and listen to him play and cry. Or some of them would meet on their own and recite stuff from the book he'd written and play his songs. I know that sounds kind of like weird and culty, but they just do that stuff on their own, okay? My brother doesn't have anything to do with it. Anyway, we did that for a while, and then one day Alice showed up. I need your help, she told us. We need people who can do what you can do. So we went to the location she gave us, and it turned out to be the headquarters of the SOIS, where they'd taken us after the second nonary game. They put us in a room with about a dozen or so other people who were all about the same age as us. A bunch of them looked familiar, too. It only took a moment to realize how we knew each other. They were the kids from the first nonary game. We were all excited to see each other again, and we were hugging and shaking hands and stuff. And then Alice walked in. The whole room went quiet. She walked up to the podium and looked around the room, making eye contact with each one of us. Right now, a terrorist organization is preparing for a major attack. They plan to trigger a pyroplandemic. If they succeed, they will strike a massive blow against all of humanity, not just one country. It's possible that we, as a species, will die out completely. We are doing our best to prevent this, but we need your help. You are what we call espers. You have the ability to access the morphogenetic field. We need that. I'm guessing you don't know what any of that is, but basically we can do this thing that's kind of like telepathy. I mean, it isn't really telepathy, but that's probably the closest thing, okay? Espers can resonate their consciousness with another person through this thing called the morphogenetic field. The purpose of the first nonary game was to research that ability. So they kidnapped kids who had the potential to do it and threw them into the game. Alice had gathered up all the kids from that experiment. Well, I mean, it had been 9 years since that happened, so we weren't really kids anymore. Anyway, everybody she brought in was an Esper. That included me and my brother, of course. I bet you think I'm making all of this up, huh? I don't blame you. It is pretty crazy. I mean, I was even starting to forget I could do that stuff. So when I heard Alice's story, I was like, screw that. I was trying to move on with my life, and now some shady government creeps wanted to use my weird ability I had for them? No way. I wasn't even sure I could do it anymore. Some of the others felt differently, though, and they told Alice they'd do it. It was a job, after all, and most people wouldn't turn down a salary like that. Oh right, I forgot to tell you, she told us how much they'd pay us if we helped. It was a lot. More wealth than you can imagine. But I was still totally against doing it. My brother told me he'd go along with whatever I decided, so I decided we were leaving. A couple days passed, and then Alice showed up at our apartment. She didn't waste time. The people behind the first Nonary game might have been part of the terrorist organization Alice and the SOIS were after. Wasn't that, she asked, something that I might want to know more about? That got me curious. My brother, too. But the clincher was that was what Seven said to us. He was one of the guys that got abducted with us in the second Nonary game. She called him on her phone right then and there and handed it to us. You guys are the only people who can do this. We don't know where Junpei is. You know, back in Moscow, I used to lose my friends all the time. Sergei, he'd go off to St. Basil's, he'd go off to St. Petersburg. I have no idea where the fuck Sergei is even now. I think that he got arrested in Los Angeles. He was in a court case against Phoenix Wright. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I don't know where Junpei is. He's gone off to travel the world looking for Akane. I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Please, just do me a favor and help Alice out. Junpei, like Seven, another participant from the second Notary game. Akane, one of the people behind the second Notary game. Seven was a Russian policeman, which was probably how Alice got in touch with him. Anyway, that did it. My brother and I agreed to join the SOIS. For the next couple months, all we did was train. Half of the time it was general knowledge and technical skills an SOIS agent needed, and the other half was learning to strengthen our Esper abilities. They'd actually known about Espers for quite a while, and it had a lot of techniques that helped us get better and stronger. After several months of hard work, we were finally ready for our first field missions. Mine was an infiltration. My brother stayed at the base, so I could relay information back through him. I was supposed to sneak into a research facility posing as one of their workers, and then use the morphogenetic field to transmit what I found back to my brother. But everything went wrong. It was a trap. The whole research facility was fake and I got captured. Alice had to come and rescue me. I'd been sending information about the inside of the facility to my brother, and Alice used that information to come and find me. As soon as she got there, she picked me up and carried me out. I was relieved and happy to be alive and free, but I was also felt ashamed and miserable. While she was carrying me back out, I started to cry. She was just so cool, and I wasn't. I wanted to be just like her. So, from that day onward, I did everything I could to be more like Alice. Our infiltration ended in failure, but we did manage to get something useful. In fact, we were able to find out where their headquarters was. The directors decided that December 25th, 2028 would be the day that we would strike. This time, I promised myself, we wouldn't screw it up. I was finally going to get some answers about something that had been with me for most of my life. But then, on December 22nd, 3 days before the raid, Alice and I were attacked by people in gas masks while we were going over our plans. And when you woke up, you were in the warehouse. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't do the Clover voice for all of that, but I don't. All of that talking seemed to have tired Clover out. Me too. She sighed and her long hair swayed as she moved. Hey, I've got a few questions. What are they? Well, first off, your, powers, I guess. I'm guessing you can't use them right now? Yeah. I'm not really sure why. I've been sending my brother messages ever since I woke up, but... No response? Yeah. If there was another Esper here, they could make me stronger, but that's just wishful thinking. Wait. What? Well, if there's someone else here who's stronger than me, then they kind of absorb my powers. Maybe... No, never mind. That's probably not it. Right. Whatever. I have some other questions, so... Moving on. I think I understand what Alice was talking about now. They were trying to spread that virus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who are they?
Well, I can't tell you that.
What? Why not? You told me all that other stuff, but this is too much?
Well, Alice would be mad at me.
I already told you I wouldn't tell her.
But...
Fine, let me rephrase. When are they going to use it?
Well, if we knew that, we wouldn't have gone to all that trouble.
So you don't know?
You don't know?
No. All we know is soon.
But that could mean just about anything.
Yeah. It could be next week or next month or even next year. Or it could have all happened already.
Next week, next month, and next year are all the same thing, Clover, because this is the end of December. Wait, you mean they might have already released the virus?
Wouldn't that make the most sense? Like, how about this room? Or that newspaper article? And the 3 people who were put in cold sleep?
Are you saying that you, me, and Alice were frozen and the pandemic happened while we were on ice? Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody else has heard of Radical 6 either.
Maybe they're lying.
Really? All 6 of them?
Well, if Kay really does have memory loss, then it's only 5. Quark is out too.
So you're saying Tenmyoji, Dio, Phi, and Luna are all lying? I guess they are a little suspicious.
Right?
And what's their motive?
For lying? How would I know?
Then what's the motive for a terrorist organization to start a pandemic?
I heard it was something about purifying the unclean.
Purifying the unclean? You mean Amon is here and he's going to take all our bending?
Oh! Unclean! Unclean. Unclean? Unclean.
What? What are you doing?
Shut up! Just hold on a minute. I'm this close to remembering. Unclean. Clean? Een?
She leapt up, suddenly excited.
Neostigmine!
Neo what?
Did you forget already? I'm talking about this stuff.
As she spoke, she pulled something out of her pocket. What pocket? It was the injection gun, complete with a vial of medication. Oh, right, I remember that. It was in the safe at the treatment center, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think you had any... I didn't have any idea what it was, though, so I give it to you.
Exactly.
Are you saying you've heard of this neostigmine stuff before?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just remembered.
You remembered?
My brother told me about that. Neostigmine is a type of... Oh, God. Cholinesterase inhibitor. That means it's sort of an antidote for turbocurarine.
Sorry, but I still don't get it.
How easy do I have to make it? Okay, fine. I'll start at the top, alright? The stuff I've gotten here is neostigmine, which counteracts the muscle relaxant turbocurarine. Following me?
Turbocurarine is the poison in our bracelets, right?
Right. It's the second thing we get injected with if we're penalized.
First is the soap roll, which puts you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the turbocurarine is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say it'll really take your breath away.
So you're saying this neostigmine keeps it from working?
Yes. Oh my God, how many times are we going to have to make me say it?
So we can just inject ourselves with this if we get penalized?
Yeah. We don't have to die. We're going to be okay. We can only pull the trigger once, though.
That means we can only use it on one person.
Yeah.
Well, it's still good news. This means that one of us can break the rules once. Like, let's see.
The best way to use it would be for sneaking through the number 9 door. If somebody gets 9 points, they can open it, right? With this stuff, somebody who doesn't have 9 points can still leave with them. Anyway, I'm gonna go tell Alice.
What? Hey, Clover, wait! Clover! It was too late. Clover was already on the lift and gone. Damn. I was, I think, understandably upset. With no stairs, my only choice was to wait for the lift to come back down. As soon as it was back, I jumped on and headed upstairs. Phi, Where did Clover go? Fi, can you hear me? She didn't say anything, just stared at me with her mouth half open. Her eyes seemed slightly glazed, and her body was unnaturally stiff. Fi? I grabbed her shoulder and shook her gently. Slowly, she raised her arm, fingers drooping limply from it. She gestured toward the exit that led away from the warehouse. That way? She went through that door? Fi's only answer was a slow, shallow nod. Right. Got it. Thanks. I headed for the exit, then paused. You look pretty tired. Get some rest, alright? Still no response. There was something odd about her, but catching Clover seemed like more of a priority. I turned back around and jogged out the door toward the treatment center. Fi's not okay. Yeah. Huh? This is weird. Where is everybody? I'd assumed Alice would be in the treatment center, so Clover would have gone there to find her, but the room was empty. Luna and Tenmyoji were gone too. They'd left Quark, and the readout on his pod was his vital signs were still normal. As far as I could tell, he was still asleep. Fine, guess it's time to go look somewhere else. I made my way out of the treatment center. Nobody in the panty. Nobody in the warehouse. Nobody in the lounge. Nobody in the other warehouse. No corpses in the crew quarters. Just a fine change of pace. What the hell? What is going on here? I can't find anybody. Every single room is empty. Wait, there's still one place I haven't checked. The infirmary! I ran into the room and stopped short. I might as well have run into a brick wall. My chest tightened so much I could barely breathe. No. What happened? I felt my whole body convulse. Whether from terror or nausea, I couldn't tell. My legs went limp and I crumpled to the floor. Something sticky pressed against the palm of my hand and I looked down to see blood. A vast, warm pool of fresh blood stretching out across the room, lapping at my legs and hands. Why, this can't be real. How could... How did she beat me here? Well, I mean, I guess I went everywhere else. In the middle of the lake of blood, there was an island of flesh, bodies. They were a bloody tangle of lifeless limbs and dead eyes, with too much blood and chaos for me to tell who was who. I mean, I can tell who's who. Had they sliced themselves open? Or stabbed one another? I couldn't tell. All the blood. Too much blood. Whatever they'd done, it was clear what tool they'd used to do it. A scalpel lay in the blood next to them, its handle and blade streaked with gore. This was how they had died. This tiny blade. Oh God. This is it. It's all over. This is how it ends. That's right. I have to end it. This nightmare will finally be over. Time to wake up. My fingers scraped across the floor as I picked up the scalpel. I lifted it slowly, carefully to my neck, as if someone were guiding my hand with theirs, and drew it across my throat. I think that's Clover end, because this is an actual ending that it looks like, from the sound and the credits that are going to come up in a second here. Ba-da-da. It seems unlikely that Fi would have run so fast when she was kind of like how she was in order to go kill herself. But what are you going to do, I suppose? Can I skip the credits? I can. Clover end. Okay. Secret Agent Woman achievement unlocked. Secret Agent Woman. And there's Clover. And that's actually about almost at a full episode length, so that works out. Not a great ending there, to be sure. But we got a lot of backstory. We got a fine cameo from our boy Seven. And a little bit of snag as well. So, yeah, that's Clover End. We're going to have to go back, and I guess we're going to betray Quark next time. I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, I think that's the plan. So, the shout-out for today is going to go to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. It's the HD remake of the first two Tony Hawk games, but utilizing the later games' extra tricks and kind of physics and stuff. Though I believe that you can change it to specifically feel like the first two games in the options too, which is fun. I haven't done that because why would you? Now, I played the first Tony Hawk game a lot when I was a kid. Well, for a couple of years anyway. I never really played the second one, but it was really Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk Underground that I played by far the most out of the series. So it's weird to play it on Xbox and not on GameCube. It's kind of a very different experience for me right now. But I'm enjoying it. I already 100%ed the THPS1 campaign. I'm working on 2, which I'm a lot less familiar with. It's good. I hope that it does well enough to remake 3 and 4, because those are much more interesting to me. Or 3 and Underground. You can just skip 4, I don't mind. But yeah, it's a really good remake. I got it on Xbox. I tried streaming it, and I did a very bad job of streaming because I'm not a good streamer. I'm not a good Let's Player either, but at least I have a little bit more control over it. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Pick it up on your Xbox or your PS4, or wait for the inevitable Switch release, because apparently the Switch controller has been found within the data for the game. So it's going to come at some point. Anyway, but yeah, that's going to be it. Kind of a gruesome ending to this one, kind of unexpectedly, but got some good Clover backstory. And, updates about Sergei being arrested in LA. But you guys knew that from watching Phoenix Justice for All. Even though we didn't finish that, I'll go back to that at some point. Anyway, that's going to be it for this time. Later, plays.